Welcome back to this series on making a PacMan game in Scratch 3. In this video we're going to be adding a power-up sprite that is going to make PacMan temporarily quicker as he moves around our maze. So the first thing we need to do is create a new sprite. So I go down to my little icon here and go to Paint, and we're going to create, you can design it however you like. I'm going to do a sort of a lightning bolt shape. So to do that I'm going to work in vector mode. I'm going to grab my line tool here, and I'm going to choose maybe like an orangey color, set my thickness a bit thicker, and I'm just going to draw some lines. And notice that if I've drawn my first line, if I now move my mouse to the end of that line, I get a little circle, and if I click and drag from there, this will run as a continuous line, which I need in order to fill this shape in a minute. So I'm going to carry on drawing my little lightning bolt shape. Okay, and now I've got my lightning bolt, so I can click and select to move that around. I can make it a bit thicker if I want to, and I can give it a fill color of like a nice sort of bright yellow. Okay, so there's my lightning bolt. It's not perfect, but because I've worked in vector mode, I could click on this tool here and I can change any of the points, and I can kind of jig it around and make it better. And then I just need to make it a bit smaller and find somewhere to place it in my maze. So let's say I'm going to make it 20% the size, and I'm going to put it here, but maybe just to make some space I might actually get rid of some of these little dots. So identifying which dot that is not always straightforward, but if I click and move a dot, you'll see it highlights it here. So that was dot 32, so let's get rid of that one. Let's move this one around. That was dot 29, delete. And finally this one, that was, let's scroll and find it, dot 60, that can go as well. So now I've just got my little bonus sprite there, ready to be clicked on. So this bonus sprite is going to appear when the game begins, or at least actually it probably wants to appear at the same sort of time that all the dots appear, so with the show dots message. So let's click on it again. I've still called it sprite 1. I need to call that something like speed bonus. Okay, and let's add some code to this. So let's say when I receive show dots, because it's almost like a dot, it kind of appears when the dots appear. So I can say when I receive show dots, I want to make sure it's showing. And we can also add some code to make it sort of disappear. So let's imagine the game has finished and we've run out of dots, but for some reason this hasn't been eaten yet. We still want it to disappear before our level complete screen. So I'm going to piggyback off the hide maze, because if the maze has disappeared, this should disappear. So let's add some more code onto our bonus, and let's just say events. When I receive hide maze, then I'm going to hide that bonus sprite as well. So that's pretty good. That should make my power up appear and disappear. So now we also need to add some code to it to see if it's touching PacMan. So I'm going to add this to my show dot. So once it's appeared, I want to start a forever loop. So it's going to be forever checking if it's touching PacMan. And we know how to do this from our dots. So we can say forever if touching PacMan. So if it touches PacMan, we need it to hide. That's one thing. Also want to now change the speed that PacMan's working at. So for that, I'm going to need to create a new variable. So I'm going to create a variable, click on variables, and I'm going to do make a variable, and I'm going to call speed. That'll do, speed. Now, very, very importantly, you must make sure you've got for all sprites selected, not this sprite only, so this one here. So this is the speed variable, and I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to set speed to, let's say, we'll have to experiment, but let's just try 6. Let's try 6. That's going to set a variable called speed to the value 6, and we can use that variable to change the speed that PacMan works at by going to our PacMan sprite. And here, where we've got, when green flag is clicked, forever, if I'm not touching the wall, then move 3 steps forward, we can change this and say move speed steps forward. Okay. Now, the thing is, when the game begins, speed hasn't got a value, so PacMan's not going to move. So we just need to add a little bit more code. So I'm going to add this in here before my forever loop, when the green flag is clicked, set speed to whatever you had before. So if it was 3 steps, you're going to set speed to 3. If it was 2, if it was 4, you would set speed to whatever value you used to use. And you'll see up here we've got a little speed variable, and that's quite useful for now because it just proves it's working. So if we just press green flag, speed is set to 3 and PacMan moves forward quite happily. Now let's see what happens when PacMan touches our little bonus sprite. His speed should increase to 6, so he's moving twice as quickly. Okay, and so speed is now 6 and PacMan is indeed moving twice as quickly around my maze. Which is good, that's fine, but I don't want that to last forever. I'd like that to last for only a short period of time. So let's go back to our bonus sprite and let's add some more code to make that speed return to what it used to be. For that, I'm just going to add a control and a wait. And you need to decide how long are you going to give PacMan this speed boost. You're going to do it for 10 seconds. Seems reasonable. So let's say for 10 seconds. And then we're going to set speed back to its original value. So set, pop it in there. Set speed back to whatever it should be. So perhaps that's 3 again. So when the speed bonus touches PacMan, it hides. Set speed to 6, wait for 10 seconds, and then set speed back to 3 again. So PacMan returns to regular speed after 10 seconds. So let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm about to touch the speed bonus and my time has begun. So if I just keep moving around for 10 seconds, that should go back to a speed of just, there we go, back to original speed again. Now, this forever loop is still running, it's still testing, am I touching PacMan, even though it's disappeared, which is a bit pointless. So just like with our dots, we're going to add control, grab a stop, change that to this script, and drop it in there. So if touching PacMan, we're going to hide, set speed to 6, wait for 10 seconds, set speed back to 3 again, and then stop the script so that we're no longer checking if we're touching PacMan. It just takes the load off of our computers so that they're not constantly checking for things they don't need to be. Okay, so now that we know that that works, we can just improve things slightly by hiding this speed variable because we don't need it now. So let's just go to variables and untick the box next to speed so that that's no longer appearing. And that's all you need to do to add a bonus that will make PacMan go temporarily faster in your game. Join me for our next video where I'm going to be showing you how to add an enemy ghost which will slow down PacMan when he touches it. So the opposite of the speed boost that we've just done.